All right, what's going on? So I got another plasma cutter off of Amazon. Let's get this thing out of the box, get it set up, and see how well it cuts metal. All right, here it is right here. BestARC. So this is the 7th gen. Let's get it out of the box. BestARC. There it is. Satisfying peel. So it looks like we got the air regulator right here, minus plus. Right here we got the ground, non-contact pilot arc, torch switch, and then the torch air. On the back of it we have on and off. Then we have our air in right there. And it's already plumbed, it's already got a fitting on there, so we can just pop our connector on there from our air compressor. Looks like we got some accessories. All right, so we got our air tube. We got our ground clamp right here. Yeah, here's the plasma torch. Looks like we got some Teflon tape, some fittings, and we got some consumables in here. And then we got our 220 to 110 adapter. All right, so here's the torch right here, AG60P. Here's the plug right here, 220. Let's get this thing plugged up and test it out. This is a non-contact pilot arc machine, which means you don't have to strike an arc. You can do it through rusted or painted metal. Just pull the trigger, starts the arc for you. All right, I'm running about 50 PSI, 40 amps. The screen's flickering, it's just the camera. We're gonna see what it puts out. 16 gauge. Man, it zipped right through that. Easy. Here's the cut. Yeah, it was nice and straight. 1/8 inch. .6 amps. Here's the cut. Let's see how well this thing hole plunges. We're gonna burn a hole right through the steel, stick a bolt in it. Plunge cut's pretty good. 1/4 inch. Quarter inch, here's the cut. Man, that is nice and clean. Probably the best cut yet. And it cut it nice and straight. 3/8 inch. Running 65 PSI, 50 amps. .3 amps. There's the cut. Man, that's nice and clean. Look how clean that cut is. It's cutting really well. You wouldn't have to grind that much at all. And it's nice and straight. 3/4 inch. All right, I got this thick 3/4 inch. Let's see if we can cut through it to the max. Man, 3/4 inch, cut right through it. You gotta go a little bit slower, a little bit of work. We could get a really clean cut, but I mean, that's not bad. It's not gonna take much cleanup. So that 3/4 inch, it lobbed right through it. You know, a little bit of work, go a little slower, you'll get a good cut. 39.4. All right, test 2, not bad at all. That is a clean cut. 39.4 amps. Man, I can't believe it cut that thick 3/4 inch steel. Look at that. So the more and more I use these little machines, I'm impressed. You know, you can do a lot with the little machine. You can cut this thick 3/4 inch steel. It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. You got to go a little bit slower, but it gets it done in a pinch. I wouldn't do it every day though. All right, so every single one of these plasma cutters I test, I go straight to 220 because I need the max power. You know, these machines do 110 too. They're dual voltage with that little pigtail adapter, but I want the best power I can get, so I go straight for 220 because, you know, there's no sense in wasting time unless you got like really thin metal that, you know, you need to turn the power way down. I just jump straight in 220, you know, max it out pretty much. And then I get the fastest cuts possible because I don't like wasting time. Let's go ahead and test the 110 though. 110, 55 PSI, 15 amps. It tells you 110 right there. It goes 15 amps to 35 amps. 16 gauge. There's the cut, nice and clean. Nice and straight. It zipped right through that. It cut that all day long. 1/8 inch. Let's see how it cuts. There's the cut. Man, that's nice and clean, like butter. Nice and straight. 29.6 amps, 3/16. There's the cut. Man, nice and clean. It cut right through it. Ignore that little spot. That was from a previous cut. It already had a little hole in it. So it's zipping through this thicker metal pretty well. 29.8 amps. 3/8, probably the max you're gonna wanna cut with 110. Let's see. All right, so it cut that. I'm impressed. I got a little squirrely right there, popped out the cut, but it got it done. Cut right through that 3/8 inch thick steel on 110, and it didn't even pop the breaker. 30.1 amps. All right, so here's the controls right here. We have the air pressure. I'm turning it. You can see the pressure's going down. We can turn it, and the pressure goes up. Then you push it in to lock it in place so you can adjust it. So it has cut, and then the air. You press air, it purges some air out of here. So one thing I noticed is you're gonna wanna dial in the air pressure when you pull the trigger because the pressure drops. So you're gonna wanna dial it in before you cut. 2T, 4T. Right here we have some pre-flow time and some post-flow time. So you can adjust the amount of airflow before the arc and after the arc. And then we have the amps right here, goes all the way up to 50. So when we pull the trigger, the fan comes on. It's got a fan back there, it's blowing to keep the machine cool. Oh, that's cool, it says 220 right there, and it'll tell us when the fan's on. That way we know if we're on 220 or 110. All right, so this plasma cutter did a great job. Pulled the thing out of the box, plugged it in, 220. I didn't have to fool with the settings much, honestly, which was nice. I really just went to town, starting cutting all this stuff, And you know, I used 220, 110. Obviously the 220 stronger, better, more power. The 110, you know, you can only use so much power, get so much power out of 110. It's just the way it is. Overall, I like the machine. The color is really cool. I like the color. That green is nice, and it's nice and compact. So the torch, it's got a nice torch on it. You know, pretty standard stuff. So this thing's got a really long lead on it, you know, plasma cutter lead. I mean, it's a good 15 feet. The torch is nice. It's got this nice ball swivel lead right here that helps articulate your wrists. So when you're cutting stuff, you know, you don't get jammed up. And then, you know, you can get any different angle that you need. The ground lead is nice, pretty standard stuff, you know. So the ground lead comes with it. It's pretty long too, which is nice because then you don't have to fight with that short cord when you're trying to get a ground, you know, on your workpiece. I am impressed though. This thing cut that thick 3/4 inch steel. Every time I cut that stuff, it impresses me. You know, few machines will do that in this size range. Man, this one did it, so that's good. But yeah, overall, this thing did a good job for me. Links in the description. Check you out in the next one. Later.